November 15th, 2022. A 23-year-old woman named Emma sits in her bedroom in Tempe, Arizona, staring at her laptop screen. She's been in the Ticketmaster queue for 4 hours. Her hands are shaking. The page refreshes. Section 327, row M, nosebleed seats. The price blinks onto the screen. $3,214. She starts crying. Not because she can't afford it. She'll put it on a credit card. She's crying because she knows she'll pay it, and she hates herself for it. 2 days later, Taylor Swift posts a statement on Instagram. Blue background, white text, serif font. She writes that she's extremely protective of her fans, that it pisses her off that people had such a hard time getting tickets, that she and her team asked Ticketmaster multiple times if they could handle the demand. The post gets 4 million likes in 6 hours. The comments are a flood of heart emojis and "We love you, Taylor," and "It's not your fault." Emma reads it on her phone. She feels better. She feels seen. She doesn't ask the question she should ask. The question that would unravel everything. Why didn't you just turn it off? Let's go back. 1989. Reading, Pennsylvania, a Christmas tree farm. This is the origin myth. The one you've heard 1,000 times. A curly-haired girl with a guitar. A dad who believed in her. A family that moved to Nashville so she could chase the dream. It's a good story. It's also a lie. Not a full lie. A lie of omission. The kind that's more dangerous. Scott Swift didn't just believe in his daughter. He bought her career. In 2003, he purchased a 3% stake in Big Machine Records for an estimated $120,000. The label didn't exist yet. It was seed money. A year later, Taylor became the first artist signed to the label. She was 14. This isn't mentioned in the documentaries. It's not in the Miss Americana narrative. But it's in the fine print. And it changes everything. Big Machine was run by a man named Scott Borchetta. He met Taylor at a Nashville showcase in 2004. She performed "Teardrops on My Guitar." He signed her on the spot. That's the story. But here's what the story doesn't say. Scott Swift didn't just invest in the label. He sat on the board. He had leverage. And when your father owns a piece of the company, the showcase isn't a meritocracy. It's a transaction. Taylor was talented. Wildly talented. No one disputes that. But she didn't claw her way up from nothing. She was born on third base and everyone told her she had a triple. Her first album drops in 2006, Tim McGraw. It goes platinum. She's 16. By 2008, she's selling out amphitheaters. Love Story hits number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. She's the youngest person to single-handedly write and perform a #1 song on the Hot Country Songs chart. The press calls her a prodigy. They call her relatable. She wears sundresses and cowboy boots. She writes about boys who don't text back. She's the girl next door, except the girl next door doesn't have a father who can write a 6-figure check to a record label. But let's not get distracted. This isn't about privilege. Privilege is everywhere in the music industry. This is about something else, something darker. It's about the construction of authenticity. Taylor Swift's entire brand is built on a single idea. She is one of us. She is vulnerable. She is wronged. She is the underdog. And for 15 years, we believed it, because she's very, very good at making us believe it. The MTV Video Music Awards. Kanye West walks on stage during her acceptance speech. He grabs the microphone. "Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." The camera cuts to Taylor. She looks shocked, humiliated. The audience boos. Kanye's escorted off. The next day, the world rallies around her. She's the victim. He's the villain. It's perfect. Too perfect. Because here's what no one talks about. That moment made her. Before that night, she was a country star. After that night, she was a global icon. Victimhood, it turns out, is an incredibly powerful brand. She milks it. The next year, she performs Innocence at the VMAs, a song about forgiveness. She's wearing a white dress. Kanye is in the audience. The camera keeps cutting to him. It's theater. Masterful theater. And it works. By 2010, she's the highest paid musician under 30. She's worth an estimated $65 million. She's 20 years old. But something else is happening behind the scenes, something the public doesn't see. She's learning. She's watching. She's studying the machine. The way the industry extracts value. The way labels control masters. The way ticketing companies rig the game. She's not a passive participant. She's taking notes. And in a few years, she'll use everything she learned to build an empire. Not by dismantling the system, by becoming it. She leaves Nashville. She buys a penthouse in Tribeca for $20 million. She starts dating Harry Styles. The paparazzi follow them everywhere. They break up. She writes style. She writes Out of the Woods. The breakup is content. The heartbreak is product. And the fans eat it up. Because that's the formula. Vulnerability equals intimacy. Intimacy equals loyalty. Loyalty equals revenue. Her team is expanding. She hires a new publicist, Trepane, former VP of a crisis management firm. She's not just managing Taylor's image, she's militarizing it. Every interview is controlled. Every photo is approved. Fan accounts that post unflattering content get legal threats. The message is clear. You can love Taylor, but you can't question her. And if you do, you'll disappear. 1989 drops. It's her first official pop album. Shake It Off, Blank Space, Bad Blood. It sells 1.2 million copies in the first week. The biggest sales week for an album in 12 years. She goes on tour. The 1989 World Tour. It grosses $250 million. She brings out guest stars every night. Selena Gomez, Lena Dunham, Karlie Kloss. It's not a concert. It's a spectacle. A branding exercise. And it works. By the end of 2015, she's worth $280 million, but she's also making enemies. Other artists start speaking out. Kanye releases Famous. The line everyone remembers, I made that bitch famous. Taylor's team releases a statement. She never approved the lyric. She's humiliated. Kim Kardashian releases a recording. Taylor did approve it. The internet turns on her. Hashtag Taylor Swift is over. Party trends worldwide. She disappears for a year. This is the part where the documentary would show her as wounded, retreating, healing. But that's not what happened. What happened is she got angrier, smarter, more calculated. She spent that year planning, and when she came back with a weapon. Reputation drops. It's darker, edgier. The album cover is a black and white photo of her face, half obscured by newsprint. The first single is Look What You Made Me Do. The music video has 30 million views in 24 hours. She's playing the villain now, and it's brilliant. Because by playing the villain, she controls the narrative. She's not hiding from the accusations, she's monetizing them. The Reputation Stadium Tour grosses $345 million, the highest grossing US tour ever at the time. And this is where the story shifts. Because Taylor Swift is no longer just an artist. She's a corporation, and corporations don't have feelings. They have profit margins. The war begins. June 30th. Taylor posts a Tumblr essay, the kind that looks handwritten, vulnerable, raw. She writes that Scooter Braun has purchased Big Machine Records, that he now owns her master recordings, all 6 albums, everything she made before she turned 27. She calls it her worst-case scenario. She says Scooter has bullied her for years, that this is her musical legacy being held hostage. The post goes nuclear. 30 million people read it in 48 hours. Celebrities take sides. Halsey tweets support. Justin Bieber, Scooter's client, tells her to stop. The narrative is set. Taylor is David. Scooter is Goliath. But let's pause. Let's look at what she doesn't say. She doesn't mention that her father still owned a stake in Big Machine when the sale happened. She doesn't mention that she was offered the chance to buy her masters back. According to Borchetta, the deal was simple. For every new album she delivered to Big Machine, she'd earn back the rights to one old album. She'd own everything by album number 12. She said no. Why? because she'd already signed with Republic Records and Universal Music Group. A new deal. Estimated value, $200 million. And in that deal, she negotiated something unprecedented. She would own all her new masters outright. Every album going forward. Hers. So the Scooter Braun fight wasn't about justice. It was about brand management. She needed an enemy. She needed a reason to re-record her old albums. And Scooter Braun, a powerful man in the industry who managed Kanye and Justin Bieber, was the perfect villain. The optics were flawless, and the economics were even better. April 2021. Fearless Taylor's version drops. It's a re-recording of her 2008 album, note for note, almost identical. The fans stream it religiously. They're told that streaming the old versions helps Scooter. Streaming the new versions helps Taylor. It's framed as activism. But it's not activism. It's market warfare. And it works. Fearless Taylor's version debuts at #1. By November, she releases Red Taylor's version. Same strategy, same result. Scooter Braun sells her masters to a private equity firm called Shamrock Holdings for $300 million in 2020. He makes a profit. She makes a narrative. But here's the thing. While she's fighting this very public war over her old music, she's quietly building something much bigger. An empire. And the foundation of that empire isn't music. It's ticketing. Let's talk about Live Nation. In 2010, Live Nation merged with Ticketmaster. It was a vertical integration deal worth $2.5 billion. The Department of Justice approved it with conditions. Live Nation promised to license its ticketing software to competitors. It promised not to retaliate against venues that didn't use Ticketmaster. It promised to play fair. It didn't. By 2022, Live Nation controlled 70% of the ticketing market for major venues. It owned the venues. It owned the ticketing platform. It owned the promotion companies. It was a monopoly. A legal one. Artists have power in the system. More than they admit. When you're Taylor Swift, when you're selling out stadiums in minutes, you have leverage. You can make demands. You can negotiate. And one of the things you can negotiate is dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is the algorithm. The surge, the scam. It's the reason a ticket that's listed at $49 on the seating chart suddenly costs $312 when you click buy. It's Uber surge pricing for concerts, and it's optional. Artists can turn it off. Most don't. Because dynamic pricing doesn't just raise prices for fans, it raises revenue for artists. Ticketmaster takes a cut. The venue takes a cut, but the artist takes the biggest cut. And when you're Taylor Swift, that cut is worth tens of millions of dollars. November 2022. The Eras Tour goes on sale. 2 million tickets. 14 million people try to buy them. The site crashes. Fans wait for 8 hours. Some get through. Most don't. The ones who do see prices they've never seen before. Upper deck seats in Santa Clara for $899. Floor seats in Glendale for $2,400. Verified Resale, a Ticketmaster program that lets scalpers sell directly on the platform, shows tickets for over $5,000. Fans are devastated. They're angry. But they're not angry at Taylor. They're angry at Ticketmaster. Taylor's statement comes 2 days later. The one Emma read in her bedroom. It's perfectly crafted. She says she and her team asked Ticketmaster multiple times if they could handle the demand. She says, "It's truly amazing that 2.4 million people got tickets." She doesn't say she turned off dynamic pricing, because she didn't. She doesn't say she negotiated a fan-friendly ticketing model, because she didn't. She outsources the blame. And it works. The Senate holds a hearing. January 24th, 2023. Ticketmaster and Live Nation promoting competition and protecting consumers in live entertainment. Joe Berchtold, president of Live Nation, testifies. He apologizes. He says the system failed. He says they're working on improvements. Senator Amy Klobuchar asks if Live Nation is a monopoly. Berchtold says no. Senator Richard Blumenthal says families are being fleeced. Taylor Swift's name is mentioned 17 times. She's framed as a victim, not a participant. No one asks her to testify. No one asks her why she didn't turn off the algorithm. Here's what the hearing doesn't reveal. Taylor Swift's team didn't just use dynamic pricing. They leaned into it. Her promoter was AEG Presents, but the tour was routed through Live Nation venues, 52 stadium shows, all Ticketmaster. Her management company, 13 Management, negotiated the deal. Her father, Scott Swift, still advises her on business decisions. This wasn't a surprise. This was the plan. And the money? The Eras Tour grosses over $2 billion. It becomes the highest-grossing concert tour in history. Taylor's cut is estimated at $15 million per show. 52 shows. That's $780 million. Before merch, before streaming, before film rights. She sells the concert film to AMC theaters for $100 million. No studio, no middleman, direct distribution. She keeps 85% of the box office. The film makes $261 million globally. She is not a victim of the industry. She is the industry. But let's go deeper, because it's not just the ticketing, it's the control. In 2019, a fan named Stephanie posted a thread on Twitter. She'd been to 5 Taylor Swift shows. She'd met Taylor twice. She loved her. But she posted a screenshot of a lyric change Taylor made in a live performance. She said she preferred the original. Within 24 hours, her account was flooded. Thousands of replies, hate messages, death threats. Her tweet was deleted. Her account went private. This wasn't organic. This was mobilized. Taylor's fan base, the Swifties, operate like a digital army, and they don't move without signals. T-Pain, Taylor's publicist, has been known to feed information to fan blogs. Accounts like the Swift Society and Taylor Swift Updates get exclusive content, early access. In return, they defend her relentlessly. When Olivia Rodrigo released Driver's License in 2021, fans speculated it was about Joshua Bassett. The song blew up. Olivia became the biggest new artist of the year. Then the credits were updated. Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff were added as co-writers on Olivia's follow-up song, Deja Vu. Why? Because it interpolated a melody from Taylor's song, Cruel Summer. The interpolation was minor, but Taylor's team filed for credit, and with credit comes royalties. 50% of the songwriting revenue. Olivia never spoke about it publicly, but her fans were furious. Taylor's fans defended it. She deserves credit. Olivia copied her. The narrative was controlled. This is the pattern. Taylor positions herself as generous. She sends gifts to fans. She invites them to secret sessions. She comments on their Instagram posts. It creates parasocial intimacy. The fans feel seen. They feel loyal. And that loyalty is weaponized. When a journalist writes a critical profile, the Swifties descend. When another artist is perceived as a threat, they attack. Taylor rarely has to say anything. The machine does it for her. Folklore drops. Surprise release. Indie sound. Aaron Dessner from The National produces it. It's introspective. Mature. The critics call it her best work. It wins Album of the Year at the Grammys. She's the first woman to win 3 times. The acceptance speech is humble. She thanks her fans. She thanks the Academy. She doesn't mention that Folklore was recorded during the pandemic, while other artists couldn't work. She doesn't mention that she released 2 full albums in 6 months, Folklore and Evermore, flooding the market while independent artists struggled to get streams. She doesn't mention that her label, Republic, spent millions on playlist placements, on billboards, on ads. Because that's not the story. The story is the underdog, the artist who makes music for the love of it. But let's look at the numbers. In 2020, Taylor Swift earned $23.8 million. In 2021, $52 million. In 2022, $92 million. By 2023, she's a billionaire. Net worth estimated at $1.1 billion. She owns 7 homes, a $50 million mansion in Rhode Island, a $25 million Beverly Hills estate, an apartment in New York worth $18 million. She travels by private jet, a Dassault Falcon 7X. Estimated cost, $54 million. In 2022, her jet flew 170 flights. Emissions equivalent to 8,300 tons of CO2. That's 1,800 times the average American's annual footprint. When a college student named Jack Sweeney started tracking her jet on Twitter, The same way he tracked Elon Musk's, Taylor's lawyers sent him a cease and desist letter. It threatened legal action. The letter said the tracking was stalking and harassing behavior. Jack's account was suspended. The data he used was publicly available flight information. But it made Taylor look bad, so it had to go. This is the contradiction. Taylor Swift sings about climate change. She posts about voting rights. She condemned Trump in 2018. She endorsed Biden in 2020. She positions herself as progressive, conscious, on the right side of history. But her actions tell a different story. She uses her jet like a taxi. She charges fans thousands of dollars for concert tickets. She aggressively protects her billion-dollar fortune while singing about being a misfit, and the fans defend it because they don't see her as a billionaire. They see her as a friend. That's the genius of it. The illusion is so complete that criticism feels like betrayal. Let's go back to November 15th, 2022, the day the tickets went on sale. Because what happened that day wasn't chaos, it was choreographed extraction. At 10 a.m. Eastern, Ticketmaster opened the verified fan pre-sale. This was supposed to be the safe option. Fans who registered early got codes. They were told they'd have a fair shot, but the codes were algorithmic bait. The moment you entered the queue, dynamic pricing was already calculating. It was measuring demand in real time. Every refresh, every click. It was adjusting the price upward. A woman named Jessica in Chicago entered the queue at 10:02 a.m. Her code was verified. She waited 3 hours. When she finally got in, the ticket she wanted, section 214, row 8, was listed at $149 on the venue map. She clicked it. The price changed, $479. She refreshed, $512. She called her friend on FaceTime. She was crying. She bought it anyway. $512 for a seat where she'd need binoculars to see the stage. At 10:47 a.m., Ticketmaster's system crashed. The site went down for 11 minutes. When it came back up, most of the tickets were gone. Fans who'd been in the queue for 4 hours were kicked out. Error messages. Sorry, there are no tickets available. But they weren't gone. They were being held. Held for verified resale. Ticketmaster's official scalping program. By 2 p.m., those same tickets were listed on Ticketmaster's resale platform. The $500 tickets Jessica bought? Listed for $1,800. The seller? Anonymous. But Ticketmaster takes a 30% cut of every resale. So whether the tickets sell at face value or get flipped for 4 times the price, Ticketmaster wins. And Taylor? She wins bigger. Her deal with Live Nation guaranteed her a percentage of gross ticket sales. Not net, gross. That means she gets a cut of the inflated dynamic pricing. She gets a cut of the verified resale markups. The more the fans pay, the more she makes. And her team knew this. They structured the deal this way. They could have negotiated a fan-friendly model. They could have capped prices. They could have used a lottery system, the way Radiohead did in 2016. They could have turned off dynamic pricing, the way Bruce Springsteen's team eventually did after Backlash. But they didn't, because Taylor Swift is not in the business of being fair. She's in the business of being beloved while extracting maximum value. And she's better at it than anyone. The Senate hearing in January was theater. Joe Berchtold sat at the table and took the punches. He apologized for the terrible experience. He said Live Nation would do better. Senator Klobuchar asked, "Why doesn't Taylor Swift have more control over this process?" Berchtold said, "Artists have a lot of say in how tickets are sold." He didn't say they have the power to turn off dynamic pricing, because saying that out loud would implicate the artists. And Live Nation needs the artists. They need Taylor Swift. Because without her, the monopoly doesn't work. But one person wasn't buying it. Senator Mike Lee from Utah. He asked a different question. "Mr. Berchtold, how much did Taylor Swift's team make from the Eras Tour ticket sales?" Berchtold hesitated. "I don't have that figure in front of me, Senator." Lee pushed. "But it's in the hundreds of millions, correct?" Berchtold nodded. "The artist takes the largest share of ticket revenue, yes." The room went quiet. Because that was the crack in the narrative. Taylor wasn't the victim. She was the beneficiary. The clip didn't go viral. It was buried under the highlights of senators scolding Ticketmaster. The media ran with the story they wanted. Ticketmaster grilled over Taylor Swift tour disaster. Not Taylor Swift profits from Ticketmaster's surge pricing. Because that story doesn't fit the brand. And the brand is everything. In March 2023, Taylor releases Midnights, the Till Dawn edition. More songs, more variants, more vinyl. She's released 4 versions of the same album, each with different cover art, different bonus tracks. Die-hard fans buy all 4. That's $80 minimum. And it works. Midnight sells 1.5 million copies in the first week. She breaks her own record. But this isn't about art anymore. It's about market saturation. It's about squeezing every dollar out of the fan base, and they thank her for it. June 2023. The Eras Tour is in full swing. She's in Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium. 73,000 people. The show is 3 hours and 15 minutes. 44 songs. 10 costume changes. It's spectacular. No one can deny that. But outside the stadium, families are sleeping in cars. They drove 12 hours to be there. They paid $700 per ticket. They can't afford a hotel. A local news station interviews a mother and her daughter. The daughter is 11. She's wearing a homemade Taylor Swift shirt. The reporter asks, "Was it worth it?" The mother says yes, but her voice cracks. And you can see it. The cognitive dissonance. The love and the resentment living in the same breath. This is the dark heart of it. Taylor Swift has built a business model on emotional exploitation. She's not selling music. She's selling belonging. And belonging has no price ceiling. Because if you're a real fan, you'll find a way. You'll put it on a credit card. You'll skip rent. You'll drive 12 hours and sleep in a parking lot. Because not being there feels like exclusion. And exclusion in the age of social media is unbearable. She knows this. Her team knows this. In 2019, a leaked document from a Live Nation strategy meeting included a slide titled Monetizing Fandom. It outlined how artists with highly engaged fan bases could increase revenue per fan by 60% using dynamic pricing, VIP packages, and exclusive merch bundles. Taylor Swift was listed as a case study. The document was obtained by a journalist at The Verge. It was published in May 2023. Taylor's team never commented on it. But here's the thing. She doesn't have to, because the system protects her. The media protects her. The fans protect her. Any criticism is deflected. Any journalist who writes a tough piece is labeled a hater, a misogynist, someone who can't handle a successful woman. And sometimes that's true. There is misogyny in how successful women are covered. But that doesn't mean Taylor Swift is above critique, and conflating legitimate criticism with sexism is a strategy. One her team uses expertly. September 2023. Taylor is dating Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL is obsessed. Every time she's shown in the stands, the broadcast cuts to her. Reaction shots. 20, 30 times a game. The NFL's female viewership spikes by 23%. Suddenly, women who didn't care about football are tuning in. And Taylor knows exactly what she's doing. She's expanding her empire. She's cross-pollinating fan bases. By December, NFL merchandise sales are up 34% among women aged 18 to 34. Taylor Swift jerseys, custom Kelce jerseys with Swift on the back, are selling for $89 on the NFL shop. The league is making money. Travis is making money. And Taylor is absorbing the culture. But something else is happening. The overexposure is starting to grate. Even some of her fans are saying it's too much. A poll by Morning Consult in January 2024 shows that 53% of Americans are tired of seeing her at NFL games. But it doesn't matter, because she's not trying to win over all Americans. She's trying to dominate the conversation. And domination isn't about being liked. It's about being inescapable. February 2024. The Grammys. Taylor wins Album of the Year for Midnights. Her 4th time. She's now tied with Paul Simon and Stevie Wonder. She's ahead of Bruce Springsteen. Ahead of Joni Mitchell. The speech is gracious. She thanks her fans. She thanks Jack Antonoff. But there's a moment. A flicker. When she says, "I want to thank the fans for making this the best year of my life." The camera cuts to Celine Dion, who presented the award. Celine is frail. She's battling stiff person syndrome. She can barely stand. She handed Taylor the award with shaking hands. Taylor took it. She thanked her. But she didn't let Celine speak. Didn't pause for her. Just took the trophy and walked to the mic. The internet noticed. The backlash was swift. She disrespected Celine. She's so self-absorbed. Taylor's fans defended her. She was nervous. People are reaching. But the clip replays. And you can see it. The moment where the brand slips, where the careful construction cracks. Because the truth is, Taylor Swift is not a relatable underdog. She's a machine. A brilliant, calculating, ruthless machine. And machines don't have empathy. They have objectives. April 2024. She releases the Tortured Poets Department. Another surprise double album. 31 songs. 2 hours and 4 minutes of runtime. It's bloated. Overwritten. The reviews are mixed. The New York Times calls it self-indulgent. Pitchfork gives it a 6.5. But it doesn't matter. It sells 2 million copies in the first week. Because the fans don't care about quality anymore. They care about quantity. They care about being part of the event. And Taylor has trained them well. She announces more tour dates. The Eras Tour will extend into 2025. More cities, more countries, more tickets, more money. The estimate now is that the tour will gross $3 billion. $3 billion. For context, that's more than the GDP of some small nations, and Taylor will take home over $1 billion of it. After taxes, after costs, $1 billion. For singing songs. And here's the philosophical question no one wants to ask. Is this okay? Is it okay for one person to accumulate that much wealth from fans, many of whom are struggling? Is it okay to charge $3,000 for a concert ticket? Is it okay to use dynamic pricing and algorithm designed to extract maximum value? And then pretend you're just as frustrated as the fans? The answer, if we're being honest, is no. It's not okay, but it's legal, and it's brilliant. Because Taylor Swift has figured out how to weaponize empathy. She's figured out how to make exploitation feel like intimacy. And in late-stage capitalism, that's the purest form of genius. There's a tweet from November 2022 that sums it up. A fan account posted, "I just paid $2,000 for tickets, and I'm so grateful Taylor is letting me see her." Read that again. Grateful Taylor is letting me see her. Not, "I'm excited to see the show." Not, "I can't believe I got tickets." Grateful she's letting them, as if access to a concert is a privilege granted by a benevolent queen. That's not fandom. That's a cult. And Taylor is the prophet. But let's not pretend this is unique to her. The music industry has been broken for decades. Spotify pays artists fractions of a cent per stream. Labels take 80% of revenue. Touring is the only way artists make real money, and Live Nation has monopolized that too. Taylor didn't create this system, but she's perfected it. She's learned how to win within it. And winning in this system means taking everything. The dark lesson here isn't that Taylor Swift is evil, she's not. She's a product of the incentives. The industry rewards consolidation. It rewards monopolization. It rewards artists who can extract maximum value from their fan base. And Taylor is the best to ever do it. She's a billionaire at 34. She owns her masters. She controls her narrative. She's more powerful than her label. More powerful than the platforms. She is the platform. And that's the point. We're not living in the age of the artist as rebel. We're living in the age of the artist as corporation. Taylor Swift isn't fighting the industry. She is the industry. And every time she posts about being frustrated with Ticketmaster, every time she plays the victim, she's running the same play. Outsource the blame. Protect the brand. Cash the check. Emma, the girl in Tempe, went to the concert. Section 327, row M. She posted about it on Instagram. Best night of my life. Heart emojis. Crying emojis. Shri is still paying off the credit card. $3,214 at 18% interest. It'll take her 2 years. But she doesn't regret it, because Taylor made her feel seen. Taylor made her feel like she was part of something. And isn't that worth it? Isn't that what we all want? Maybe. But let's stop pretending it's anything other than what it is. A transaction. A brilliant, profitable, perfectly executed transaction. Taylor Swift is not your friend. She's not the underdog. She's not the victim. She's the most successful capitalist in the music industry. And she's very, very good at making you forget that. The lights go down. The crowd screams. And somewhere, an algorithm adjusts the price of a ticket. Again,